Right out of the gate, Season 2 Episode 1 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage wastes no time tossing us straight into chaos. Business deals, big dreams, and some old school family drama. If you thought opening a tire shop with your best bud would be smooth sailing, this episode will have you questioning everything about adulting, partnerships, and even the definition of success. Let's dive into all the drama, the loss, and the unexpected solutions as Georgie and Ruben's dream of running McAllister Tire quickly turns into a collision of personalities and poor decision-making. Trust me, you don't want to miss how far they'll go to break a T, because it's both ridiculous and hilarious. The story kicks off with Georgie and Ruben facing their first real test as business owners. McAllister Tire, once the cornerstone of Jim's working life, is now up for grabs. Fred Fagenbacker waltzes in and offers to buy the shop, threatening Georgie and Ruben's plans for the future. Jim, understandably shaken by the idea of selling off his legacy, wants the boys to make a counter-offer. But, as anyone who's ever tried to cobble together a business loan knows, getting money isn't as easy as slapping down whatever you have and calling it collateral. Even with their families chipping in savings, it's not enough. The tension is thick as Georgie realizes the dream might slip away before it even starts. But, against all odds, they clinch the deal. The showroom now belongs to Georgie and Ruben. Cue the excitement mixed with terror. Jim is officially retired and suddenly finds himself with loads of free time. For a guy who's always worked, retirement feels less like a reward and more like a curse. He tries to fill the hours with chores, cleaning the attic, organizing the garage, planting flowers, but finds these bucket list tasks dull and unfulfilling. It's a pretty relatable existential crisis for anyone facing a big life change. Meanwhile, back at the tire shop, Georgie and Ruben are dealing with much bigger problems. How to manage the store, grow it, and what their partnership will look like. Georgie is the big ideas guy with dreams of expanding McAllister Tire across Texas, using each new store as a springboard for the next. He's got grand plans: e-radio ads, TV spots, billboards, a future full of franchises. Ruben is less convinced. Everywhere Georgie sees opportunity, Ruben sees risk. Debt, Ruben reminds him, is a monster, not a path to wealth. And let's not forget, their families have put up serious cash and collateral, raising the stakes for every decision. It doesn't take long for their opposing philosophies to clash. Georgie wants an automated inventory system, believing that investing in technology now will save them money and headache is down the road. Ruben, forever budget conscious, pushes back. He thinks there's no room in the budget for a new computer and worries about spending their precious funds. Their conflict isn't just about equipment. It's about how to run the business itself. Numbers versus gut, heart versus head, progress versus survival. The cracks start to show when they run out of brake pads and realize how badly they need a better tracking system. Georgie insists automation is the answer, but Ruben can only see the upfront cost. Their inability to find common ground spills into snarky exchanges, and soon everyone in the shop is feeling the tension. The argument continues at home, where Georgie vents to Mandy about his worries. Buying his dad's shop seemed like a dream, but sharing decision-making with Ruben is turning into a nightmare of endless deadlock. While the boys battle it out, Jim's transition into retirement is a comedy of errors. He's bored, he's lonely, and he's not quite sure what to do with himself. When he does pop into the tire shop to offer help, it's not clear if Georgie and Ruben want his input or just want him out of their hair. After some light goofing around, Jim ends up surprisingly helpful, suggesting they compromise on the computer, maybe lease one as a test before splurging on a purchase. He even brings pizza, shows off his wise elder credentials, and briefly feels like he has value again. But true to form, he then eats all the pizza and heads home for a nap, because old habits die hard. Georgie and Ruben's inability to make decisions doesn't stop with inventory. They clash on every tiny issue, from picking a name for the expanding franchise to whether to hire an accountant. Their arguments are both hilarious and relatable. Anyone who's ever tried to work with a friend will recognize the cycle of talking in circles, bringing up old grievances, and refusing to budge. The partnership is almost comically dysfunctional. Mandy lightens the mood by suggesting they settle things like the Wright brothers. Flip a coin. Georgie scoffs, but the idea sticks. Finally, after exhausting all possible routes to compromise and realizing they're getting nowhere, they agree to a tie breaker. Not just a coin toss or a game of tic-tac-toe, but a literal foot race to the post office and back. The stakes, whoever wins gets their way. It's a full-on showdown with grown men running through town, boots and all, fueled by stubborn pride and desperation. Georgie gives Ruben a 5-second head start, but it's a chaotic dash that ends in laughter and exhaustion. Even Mandy observes, "Who was watching the store while you two dummies were running around?" In the end, Ruben loses, but the race breaks the tension and possibly his dignity. They compromise. Georgie gets his computer, but now understands that every big risk comes with a cost. Meanwhile, Jim's day goes awry when his attempt at classic car joy rides ends in sunburn, stranded with nobody answering his calls. Retirement, he moans, is tougher than he imagined, a running joke that adds a bittersweet humor to the episode. The ending wraps up with the family sharing lessons learned. Georgie and Ruben realize they're in this together, whether they're making grown-up decisions or settling arguments like kids. Jim finds a little redemption knowing he's still needed, and Mandy steps in as the voice of reason and sass, helping Georgie see the bigger picture. The tire store's future may be uncertain, but this family's fighting spirit is very much alive. We're reminded that business is messy, partnerships are hard, and sometimes the only way forward is to run like hell, literally and figuratively. To sum it up, Season 2 Episode 1 sets the tone for an explosive, hilarious, and totally unpredictable season. Georgie and Ruben have a mountain to climb. Jim is figuring out how to fill his days, and the whole family is learning that growing pains are as messy as spilled motor oil. No easy answers, lots of compromises, and loads of heart. This episode packs it all in, leaving us itching to see what wild decisions they'll make next. So, what did you think about all the tension and comedy in this episode? Did Georgie's risky ideas win you over? Or are you siding with cautious Ruben? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap and want to keep following all the drama at McAllister Tire, be sure to hit that like button, share this video with friends, and subscribe for more detailed episode breakdowns. See you in the next one.